How I built my own UFO boat, a crazy dream come true. Let me take you back to the beginning. One day, I found myself sitting in my garage, surrounded by tools, random materials, and a head full of ideas. You know how most people want to build something practical, maybe a car or a nice deck? Well, I had a different thought. Why not build a UFO boat? Yeah, you heard that right. Not just any boat, but a floating, fully functional UFO-shaped one. I mean, who wouldn't want to cruise the waters like an alien? So I got to work. Now, when I say got to work, I really mean I stared at the blueprint for hours, scratching my head, wondering how on Earth, or maybe off-Earth, I was going to pull this off. I had the vision. A shiny, sleek flying saucer gliding over the water. But the reality? Let's just say it didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped. Day after day, I was in the garage cutting metal, welding parts together, trying to piece this thing into something that looked, well, less like a pile of scrap and more like a UFO. My neighbors would pass by giving me those, "What is he up to now?" looks. I could almost hear them thinking, has he finally gone off the deep end? And honestly, at some points, I wondered that myself. The real challenge came when I had to figure out how to make it float. Sure, it looked cool, but a UFO boat that doesn't float is just a UFO. I'll admit, there were more than a few failures. The first time I tested a section, it went straight down to the bottom of the pool. I just stood there watching it sink, shaking my head. Well, that didn't go as planned. But hey, failure is just a step on the way to success, right? So I laughed it off and went back to the drawing board. After countless sleepless nights, endless trips to the hardware store, and probably enough coffee to fuel an actual spaceship, I finally had something that looked legit. It was silver, shiny, and had these incredible LED lights that made it glow like a real UFO. I was almost convinced it could fly, but before I got too ahead of myself, I had to test the most important part. Would it actually float? The big day arrived. I loaded the UFO onto a trailer, and with a mix of excitement and sheer nervousness, I headed to the lake. This was the moment of truth. Would it sink? Would it float? Or would I end up paddling back to shore with a half-submerged flying saucer? With a deep breath, I lowered the UFO into the water. There was this tense moment, like time itself was holding its breath. And then, it floated. I couldn't believe it. The thing actually stayed on the surface. I jumped in, fired up the engine, and as soon as it started moving, it hit me. I was actually driving my own UFO boat. There I was, cruising across the lake, UFO lights flickering, creating a glowing trail in the water. People on the shore were staring, jaws dropped, some even pulling out their phones. It was like I had just stepped out of a sci-fi movie, and I was the star. As I sailed into the sunset, I realized something important. If you've got a crazy idea, no matter how wild or impossible it seems, go for it. Sure, people will think you're out of your mind. You'll probably mess up more times than you can count. But if you keep at it, you might just end up doing something that feels out of this world. And honestly, there's no better feeling. If you enjoyed this journey and want to see more wild adventures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there's plenty more where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
You.